The Intergalactic Academy buzzed with the vibrant energy of diverse species, each with their own unique customs and quirks. Holographic displays flickered overhead, showcasing the latest achievements of students across the galaxy. Among the throng of tentacles, wings, and tails, one figure stood out. Alex, a human known as a Deathworlder, whose reputation for surviving the extreme dangers of Earth had made him a legend among the students. As he strolled through the bioluminescent garden that adorned the Academy's entrance, Alex couldn't help but admire the kaleidoscope of life around him. A Skrellian, with shimmering scales reflecting hues of blue and green, nervously clutched a datapad, glancing over at a group of fellow students huddled together, whispering urgently. Their expressions mirrored the apprehension that hung in the air like a thick fog. "Did you hear about the assignment?" One of them squeaked, his tentacles twitching with anxiety. "It's a retrieval mission in the biomechanical lab." Alex raised an eyebrow, intrigued. It wasn't unusual for the professor to throw students into challenging situations, but he sensed this one was different. As he made his way to the classroom, he passed a large window revealing the lab itself, a sprawling complex of metal and glass, pulsing with energy, filled with flashing lights and the ominous hum of machinery. Inside the classroom, students took their seats, the chatter dimming as the professor, a tall, elegant being with a shimmering exoskeleton, entered. His presence commanded attention, and the room fell silent. He flicked his wrist, and a holographic display of the assignment appeared above the table. "Welcome, students. Today, we have an exciting, and perhaps daunting, task ahead of us," he announced, his voice booming with enthusiasm. "Your mission is to retrieve a volatile crystal from the depths of the biomechanical lab. But beware. The lab is teeming with potential hazards, toxic gas, malfunctioning robots, and environmental threats designed to test your limits." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Alex observed his classmates' reactions. Acephalon, known for its intelligence but often paralyzed by fear, seemed to withdraw into its own mind, while the Skrellian fidgeted nervously, its scales shifting colors like a chameleon. "Remember," the professor continued, "this is not just a test of knowledge, but of teamwork and courage. You will need to rely on each other, especially in the face of fear." With that, he began assigning groups. As the professor called out names, Alex felt a mix of anticipation and concern. He noticed that many of the stronger students had been paired with the timid ones, likely to foster support, but Alex's name was called last, pairing him with the most anxious students, those who were already quaking in their boots. As the group gathered, the Cephalon managed to speak, its voice trembling. "What if we don't make it back? The last time we encountered something dangerous, it didn't go well." "Relax," Alex interjected, his tone lighthearted but firm. "This is a simulation, not a death sentence. We've trained for this. Trust me, we can handle whatever the lab throws at us. Together, we'll turn this into an adventure." The alien students exchanged uncertain glances, unsure of how to respond. Some offered hesitant nods, while others looked even more nervous. But Alex's confidence seemed to cut through their anxiety, sparking a flicker of determination among them. "Let's meet back here after class and strategize," Alex suggested, trying to rally their spirits. "We've got this." He offered a reassuring smile, hoping it would ease their fears as they prepared to face the unknown ahead. The classroom door slid shut with a soft hiss, sealing the group inside as the professor's voice echoed in their minds. The holographic display shimmered to life, showcasing a detailed blueprint of the biomechanical lab, filled with swirling colors and animated threats. Alex felt the thrill of adventure pulse through him as he scanned the projections. "Your objective," the professor explained, his tone steady, "is to retrieve a volatile crystal located at the heart of this simulated environment. But beware, your path is fraught with challenges. Toxic gas will fill the chamber if you take too long, and malfunctioning robotic sentinels will attempt to halt your progress. Teamwork is crucial. Whispers erupted among the students, a mix of disbelief and fear. The Cephalan's eye stalks widened as it connected to the shared thoughts of the others, amplifying their panic. What if we encounter the drones? They can be aggressive, it said, its voice trembling. Focus. Alex replied, raising his hands in a calming gesture. We can't let fear dictate our actions. We need to think strategically. Let's analyze the plan. The professor allowed them a moment to absorb the information. Then he gestured to the display, which shifted to show the first challenge. A maze of walls and obstacles that would lead to the crystal. You must navigate through these hazards. Choose your path wisely. The students' eyes darted between the holograms, their uncertainty palpable. The Skrellian, who had been silent until now, finally spoke up, its voice barely above a whisper. What if we split up? That way, we can cover more ground. No way. Another student, a burly Gorgonian with thick, armored skin, retorted. If we split up, we'll be easy targets for the drones. We need to stick together. The debate escalated, voices rising in a mix of fear and frustration. Alex listened intently, recognizing the need to restore order. Okay, everyone, let's take a deep breath, he suggested, putting his hands on the table to anchor himself. We can't afford to panic. We need a clear plan. The room quieted, all eyes on him. Here's what we'll do. Let's assign roles based on our strengths. I'll take points since I'm used to this kind of environment. The Cephalan, you can scout ahead with your telepathy to sense any threats. Skrellian, you have agility. Use that to navigate obstacles. Gorgonian, you're our muscle for any confrontations. His classmates exchanged uncertain glances, but slowly, nods of agreement began to surface. The Cephalan hesitated before responding. I'll try my best. Good. Alex encouraged, feeling the atmosphere shift slightly. And remember, if we run into trouble, we'll regroup and adapt. We can handle this. Just then, the professor chimed in, his tone suddenly more serious. Remember, this assignment isn't merely about retrieving a crystal. It's a test of your character, your ability to face fear, and your willingness to support one another. The true measure of success lies not just in completion, but in how you grow as a team. With that, the holographic display shifted again, revealing a countdown timer. *** 24 hours until mission commencement ***. The clock seemed to loom over them, pressing on their shoulders. As the students prepared to leave, Alex turned to them with a confident smile. Let's meet here in an hour to finalize our strategy. We'll be ready for anything. As they filed out, the energy in the room had shifted. While some still wore expressions of trepidation, others began to chatter about the possibilities. Alex could see the spark of determination igniting within them. He felt a rush of optimism. This challenge could unite them and prove to be more than just an assignment. It was an opportunity to grow together as a team. But deep down, he also felt the weight of responsibility. They were venturing into the unknown, and he was determined to guide them through it, no matter what dangers lay ahead. As the hour passed, the atmosphere in the classroom transformed. Students huddled in small groups, their earlier fears slowly giving way to focused determination. The chatter buzzed with ideas and strategies, and Alex could feel the excitement building. He glanced at the clock, its countdown ticking steadily toward the impending mission. When the time came, Alex gathered his team at a corner of the room. All right, everyone, let's finalize our plan, he said, a hint of adrenaline in his voice. We need to be on the same page if we're going to succeed. The Cephalan, who had taken the name Zulith, floated forward. I can use my telepathy to sense the location of the drones and any hazardous conditions. If we stay connected mentally, I can guide you through. Great idea. Alex nodded, appreciating Zulith's willingness to step up. And you can let us know when to move and when to hide. But remember, if you feel overwhelmed, don't hesitate to signal for us to regroup. The Skrellian, who introduced himself as Jex, chimed in, his voice steadier than before. "I can use my agility to navigate tight spaces quickly. I'll be the scout, but I need to stay close to you, Alex, so we don't get separated." "Absolutely," Alex replied, pleased with the input. "And Gorg, you'll be our anchor. If things get tough, we'll rely on your strength to fend off any threats. Just be ready to protect us, especially if the drones get aggressive." The Gorgonian, a hulking figure with a tough exterior, nodded, a newfound glimmer of confidence in his eyes. "I can handle myself. Just point me in the right direction." "Perfect," Alex exclaimed, feeling the synergy between them grow. "Now let's run through our plan a couple of times before heading to the lab." With Alex leading, they practiced their movements in the classroom. Zelith projected a mental map, helping them visualize the layout of the lab and where potential threats might emerge. They simulated the sequence of navigating the maze, focusing on timing and coordination. Each run-through brought laughter and light-hearted banter, gradually dissipating the lingering tension. They even added in playful competition, timing each other's movements to see who could complete the simulation fastest. Alex found himself genuinely enjoying the camaraderie, a stark contrast to the anxiety he'd sensed earlier. "Okay, let's do one last run," he called out, energized by their progress. "This time, we'll go full speed." As they sprinted through their practiced paths, a sudden alarm blared throughout the classroom, startling everyone. The professor burst in, eyes wide with urgency. "Attention! It seems we have a simulation malfunction. I need you all to stay calm and follow me." The students exchanged anxious glances. Alex felt a flicker of dread. What if this was a sign of what lay ahead in the lab? But he pushed the thought aside, focusing instead on his classmates. "Stay close. Let's see what's happening," he said firmly. They followed the professor into a corridor, where a holographic interface displayed chaotic readings and error messages. "The biomechanical lab has been compromised, and some of the threats may now be more realistic than intended," the professor explained. "This will test your limits, but it will also give you a glimpse of true danger." Alex's heart raced. This wasn't just an assignment anymore. It had morphed into something much more intense. He turned to his team, their expressions a mix of fear and determination. "Looks like we'll need to adapt," he said, forcing a grin. "If we work together, we can handle whatever comes our way." The Cephalon nodded, its eye stalks flickering with energy. "We will face this together." "Together," Jex echoed, a newfound fire igniting in his eyes. "Let's show them what we're made of," Gorg added, his voice booming with confidence. As they stood in that corridor, surrounded by uncertainty, Alex felt a surge of pride. They were no longer just classmates. They were a team, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the biomechanical lab. The clock was ticking, and the adventure was about to begin. The next day dawned with an electric tension in the air. As the team gathered outside the biomechanical lab, Alex felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The imposing doors loomed ahead, adorned with blinking lights and a glowing emblem of the academy. He turned to his teammates, who were fidgeting with their gear, their faces a canvas of determination mixed with trepidation. "Remember, we stick together no matter what," Alex reiterated, scanning their faces for reassurance. "Zilith, you're our eyes and ears. Jex, be ready to scout. Gorg, keep your strength at the ready. We've got this." With a deep breath, he stepped forward and pressed a glowing panel next to the door. The doors slid open with a hiss, revealing a darkened corridor lined with strange mechanical devices and holographic projections of unknown flora. The air was thick with a palpable energy, heightening their senses. As they entered, the lights flickered to life, illuminating the maze ahead. The holographic map Zilith had prepared the previous day projected in the air, showing the paths they needed to take. Alex felt his heart race with the thrill of the challenge ahead. "Let's move," he called, stepping confidently into the lab. The others followed closely, their movements synchronized as they navigated the first series of obstacles. They reached the first junction, where two paths diverged. One led deeper into the maze, while the other veered toward a series of mechanical arms that looked suspiciously alive. "Xylith, what do you sense?" Alex asked, glancing back. Xylith closed its eyes, focusing its telepathic energy. "There's a presence on the left path, something hostile. The right path is clear for now." "Then we go right," Alex decided, leading the way. The team cautiously approached the mechanical arms, which whirred and clicked as they swung overhead. Timing their movements, they ducked and weaved, narrowly avoiding being struck. Just as they cleared the arms, the environment shifted dramatically. The lights dimmed, and a loud alarm blared. "Intruder detected," echoed a robotic voice, and a swarm of drones emerged from hidden alcoves, their red lights blinking ominously. "Drones," Jex yelled, instinctively springing into action. "I'll distract them." "No, wait," Alex shouted, but it was too late. Jex darted forward, agile and quick, weaving between the drones as they began to engage. "I'll lead them away," he shouted over his shoulder. "Stay with him," Alex ordered, trying to maintain order. But as Jex lured the drones deeper into the maze, Gorg stepped up. "I'll create a distraction." "Xylith, can you sense where Jex is headed?" "Yes," Xylith replied, its eye stalks focused intently. "But he's drawing them into a more dangerous area." "Then we need to regroup," Alex yelled, urging Gorg to follow. They darted down the corridor, where the drones were now buzzing furiously after Jex. "Jex," Alex called out, but the Skrellian had already vanished around a corner. "We can't leave him." "Let me," Gorg exclaimed, muscles tensed and ready. "I'll take care of them." "No, Gorg, we need a plan," Alex countered, feeling the adrenaline surge through him. "Xylith, can you connect with Jex?" "We need to coordinate." As Xylith concentrated, its eyes glowed. "He's okay. He's trapped in a side chamber, but he's safe for now." The drones are confused. "Okay, let's move quickly," Alex said, his resolve hardening. They maneuvered through the labyrinth, reaching the entrance of the side chamber just as the last drone careened past. Alex burst through the doorway, finding Jex crouched against the wall, panting but unhurt. "I thought I was a goner," Jex exclaimed, relief flooding his voice. "Not on our watch." Alex grinned, glancing back at Gorg and Xylith as they entered. "Now let's get that crystal and show these drones what we're made of." With their spirits renewed and a shared sense of purpose, they stepped deeper into the maze. The challenges ahead were daunting, but they were ready to face whatever came next. Together, with renewed determination, Alex led his team deeper into the maze of the biomechanical lab. The environment shifted ominously, the walls pulsating with a faint glow, as if the very structure of the lab was alive. They navigated through tight corridors, their hearts racing with every step. The air crackled with anticipation, charged with the unknown challenges that lay ahead. As they approached the next junction, a series of loud clanging noises echoed through the chamber, and the lights flickered erratically. "What was that?" Jex asked, his voice laced with tension. "Stay alert," Alex replied, scanning the area. "Xylith, can you sense any threats?" The Cephalan's eye stalks darted around, focusing intently. "I feel something, an overwhelming presence. It's shifting rapidly," Xylith warned, its voice rising in pitch. Before they could react, a squadron of drones emerged from hidden panels in the walls, their red lights flashing in warning. "Intruders detected," the robotic voice boomed, reverberating throughout the chamber. The drones whirred to life, their mechanical bodies glinting menacingly in the dim light. "Scatter," Alex yelled, instinctively grabbing Jex's arm and pulling him aside as the drone surged forward. "Gorg, protect Xylith." Gorg stepped up, arms outstretched, his bulk blocking the incoming drones. "I can take them," he shouted, his voice booming with confidence. He charged at the nearest drone, his massive fists swinging. The impact sent the drone spinning, crashing against the wall with a metallic clang. "Great job, Gorg," Alex shouted, adrenaline pumping through him. "Keep them occupied while we regroup." Zilith, quick on its feet, focused its energy. "I can disrupt their sensors momentarily," it declared, glowing brightly. The air shimmered as Zilith projected a mental wave, causing the drones to falter and hesitate, momentarily disoriented. "Now's our chance," Alex urged, motioning for Jex to follow him. They darted to the side, weaving between the drones, narrowly avoiding their laser beams as they lit up the darkened corridors. Just as they thought they had a moment to breathe, an explosion of sparks erupted from one of the drones, sending a shower of debris flying. "They're more aggressive than I anticipated," Jex gasped, dodging a falling panel. "Stay focused," Alex shouted. "We need to find a safe spot to regroup and formulate a plan." "Zilith, can you guide us?" "I can sense a corridor to the right," Zilith replied, urgency in its voice. "It leads to a maintenance room. We can barricade ourselves there." "Let's move," Alex commanded, leading the charge as they sprinted toward the indicated corridor. Gorg, still engaged with the drones, swung wildly, creating a makeshift barrier as the rest of the team slipped through the narrow passage. They tumbled into the maintenance room, breathless. The space was cluttered with tools, spare parts, and old machinery. Alex quickly slammed the door shut, pressing his back against it to catch his breath. "Is everyone okay?" he asked, glancing around. Jex nodded, though he was clearly shaken. Gorg leaned against a wall, panting but ready for more action. "I've never faced anything like that before," Jex admitted, his voice shaky. "We need to stay calm," Alex said, his own heart still racing. "Zilith, can you get a read on the drones? Are they still pursuing us?" Zilith closed its eyes, concentrating. "They're confused but regrouping. They'll be back. We had a limited time to act before they track us down. Then we need to move quickly," Alex decided, glancing at the clutter around them. "We can use the tools here to set traps. If we can buy ourselves some time, we might be able to reach the crystal without engaging every drone head-on." "Let's do it," Gorg exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "I can help with the heavy lifting." As they began to brainstorm and work together, Alex felt a surge of hope. Despite the chaos and fear, they were finding their rhythm. They had a chance to turn the tables and prove their mettle, not just to themselves, but to the entire academy. The true challenge was just beginning, and Alex was ready to lead them into it. With a sense of urgency, Alex and his team began to fortify the maintenance room. They gathered tools and spare parts, brainstorming a makeshift trap to slow the advancing drones. The air buzzed with energy, each member contributing their unique strengths as they worked together. "Gorg, can you lift that heavy panel?" Alex asked, pointing to a metal sheet leaning against the wall. "We can use it as a barricade." "On it," Gorg replied, his muscular arms lifting the panel with ease. He positioned it against the door, creating a solid barrier. "This should hold for a bit." "Great. Zilith, can you amplify the sensory disruptions?" Alex continued, glancing at the cephalon. "If you can make it seem like we're in two places at once, it might confuse them even more." "I can try," Zilith responded, focusing its energy. Its eye stalks glowed brighter, and a shimmering field of distortion enveloped the room. The air crackled with telepathic energy, enhancing their defenses. Jex, pacing nervously, chimed in. "What if they break through? We need an escape route." "Good thinking," Alex agreed. "There's a vent overhead. If we can pry it open, we might slip away if things get too hot." Gorg nodded, adjusting the barricade one last time. "I'll get it." He stretched up to reach the vent, straining slightly before pulling it free with a metallic clang. Dust poured down as the cover fell, revealing a dark tunnel above. "Perfect," Alex exclaimed, feeling a wave of adrenaline surge. "Zilith, can you sense the drone's movements? We need to know when they're getting close." "I can," Zilith confirmed, focusing intently. "They're approaching, but they're still disoriented. We have a few moments before they regroup." "All right, let's get ready," Alex instructed. "Gorg, you and Zilith take point in the vent. Jex and I will cover the rear. If we run into trouble, we'll regroup and make a break for the exit." With a deep breath, they ascended into the vent, the narrow space forcing them close together. The muffled sounds of the drones echoed through the labyrinth, but their escape felt tangible. After crawling for what felt like an eternity, they'd reached an opening that led to a dimly lit chamber. Peering down, Alex spotted the crystal, nestled on a pedestal at the center of the room. It glimmered with an alluring energy, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. "There it is," he whispered, excitement bubbling within him. "But look around. There's bound to be more drones." Jex squinted, his heart racing. "There's no way we can just waltz in there. We need a distraction." "Zilith, can you create a diversion?" Alex asked, his mind racing with ideas. "I can amplify my energy and create an illusion," Zilith replied, its eye stalks gleaming. "But it will take concentration." "Let's do it then," Alex urged, knowing this was their moment. "Gorg, be ready to charge in if things go south." As Zilith concentrated, the air shimmered around them, forming a projection of the team running in the opposite direction. The illusion flickered and moved, drawing the attention of several drones who began to swarm toward it. "Now," Alex shouted, gesturing for Jex and Gorg to follow. They dashed out of the vent, moving stealthily toward the pedestal. The drones buzzed away, captivated by the distraction. As they approached the crystal, a low hum filled the chamber, growing louder with each step. The pedestal was surrounded by a protective field, swirling with energy. "We need to disable that field," Alex exclaimed, scanning for a control panel. "There," Jex pointed to a nearby console. "I'll handle it." As Jex sprinted to the console, Gorg stood guard, fists clenched, ready to fend off any returning drones. Zilith remained focused, monitoring the incoming threats. Jex quickly worked at the controls, sweat beading on his forehead. Come on," he muttered, tapping the screen frantically. The field flickered momentarily but held firm. "Almost there," he shouted, as the first drones began to return to the chamber, their sensors flaring to life. "Jex, hurry," Alex urged, his heart pounding. The sound of whirring propellers echoed ominously closer. "Got it," Jex shouted triumphantly as the protective field collapsed with a flash. "Now grab the crystal." In that moment, time slowed as Alex lunged for the crystal, his fingers wrapping around its smooth surface. The energy pulsed through him, invigorating his senses, but the triumph was short-lived as the drones converged on them. "Retreat," Alex yelled, clutching the crystal tightly. They raced toward the exit, Gorg clearing a path with powerful swings, while Zilith projected illusions to confuse the drones. Just as they reached the exit, a drone blocked their path, its red lights glaring. Gorg stepped forward, ready to defend. "I'll hold them back. Get out." "No," Alex shouted, panic gripping him. "We're all in this together." In that moment of urgency, Alex realized that their success depended on unity. "Zilith, can you create a distraction again?" With a flick of its eye stalks, Zilith concentrated, creating a series of flashing holograms that swarmed around the drone, drawing its attention. "Now," Alex commanded, and they bolted past the drone, the thrill of escape fueling their flight. They raced through the winding corridors, adrenaline coursing through their veins as the lab erupted in chaos behind them. Finally, they burst through the main doors, the bright light of the academy flooding their senses. They had made it, together. The danger was not over, but they had taken the first step toward victory. The adventure was just beginning. As they stumbled out of the biomechanical lab, gasping for breath and hearts racing. The vibrant light of the academy enveloped them. The chaotic sounds of the drones faded into the background, replaced by the soft hum of the academy's ambient energy. They had done it. The crystal was in Alex's hands, pulsing with a warm glow. Did we really make it? Jex panted, his eyes wide with disbelief. That was insane. Gorg clapped a massive hand on his shoulder, grinning. We did, and we took down those drones like champions. Zilith floated nearby, its eye stalks flickering with excitement. The distraction worked perfectly. I've never felt so connected to a team before. Let's not forget the crystal, Alex said, cradling it protectively. We need to get this back to the professor and report what happened. We learned a lot in there, but we can't let our guard down just yet. As they made their way through the academy, the adrenaline began to wear off, leaving a sense of euphoria mixed with exhaustion. They navigated the halls, where holographic displays showcased student projects and achievements. This time, though, Alex felt a profound sense of belonging, a realization that they were part of something greater. Arriving at the main atrium, they found the professor waiting for them, flanked by a group of curious students. His expression shifted from concern to pride as he saw the team approach, the crystal glowing brightly in Alex's hands. Well done, the professor exclaimed, his voice booming across the atrium. You managed to retrieve the crystal despite the unexpected challenges. I'd like to hear your report. Alex stepped forward, his heart swelling with pride. We encountered aggressive drones and had to think quickly. Zilith's illusions were key in distracting them, and Gord provided essential muscle. Jex's quick thinking at the control panel saved us time, allowing us to grab the crystal. The students around them erupted into cheers and applause, their admiration evident. Alex couldn't help but smile, the validation washing over him like a wave. They had faced danger, yes, but they had also forged a bond that would carry them through future challenges. As the professor examined the crystal, his expression turned serious. This was more than just a retrieval mission. You were put in a situation that required teamwork, bravery, and creativity. You all exhibited exceptional skills and made critical decisions under pressure. But it was also terrifying, Jex admitted, his voice wavering slightly. I thought we wouldn't make it back. Fear can be a powerful motivator, the professor replied, a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. It's how you respond to that fear that truly matters. You learn to trust one another and your instincts. That is the essence of being a true team. As the students continued to celebrate, Alex felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. He turned to his teammates, their expressions reflecting a shared understanding. They had faced something together that had tested their limits and forged a lasting connection. Thanks, everyone, Alex said, looking at each of them. We did this together. I couldn't have asked for a better team. Gorg grinned. We make a great team. Who would have thought we could take on those drones and still come out on top? We should celebrate, Jex suggested, his earlier anxiety giving way to excitement. How about a gathering at the common room? Zilith floated higher, its enthusiasm palpable. I would love that. We can share stories of our adventure and reflect on what we learned. As they headed to the common room, laughter and banter filled the air. The bond they had formed in the heat of the moment transformed into something deeper. Friendship, respect, and a sense of belonging that Alex had longed for since arriving at the academy. As they settled in for a night of stories and camaraderie, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had conquered challenges together, but more importantly, they had discovered the strength that lay in unity. Whatever future challenges awaited them, he knew they would face them as one, ready to take on the universe together. The common room buzzed with energy as Alex and his teammates shared their harrowing adventure. Students gathered around, eager to hear every detail. Laughter and exclamations filled the air, a comforting backdrop to the shared stories of bravery and camaraderie. Did you really lift a drone with one hand? A younger student asked, wide-eyed, as he turned to Gorg. The Gorgonian chuckled, his pride evident. It was more of a swing, but I like to think I made quite an impression. More like a smash. Jex chimed in, grinning. You should have seen the way it crumpled. As the stories flowed, Alex leaned back, soaking in the atmosphere. He felt a warmth in his chest, a sense of belonging that he had craved. This was more than just an assignment. It had sparked friendships that would last beyond their time at the academy. After the initial excitement settled, the professor stepped in, raising his hands for attention. I'm proud of each of you. You demonstrated not just courage, but also the power of teamwork. The crystal is a remarkable find, and your success will be noted in the Academy's history. The students erupted into applause again, their voices echoing off the walls. Alex exchanged glances with his teammates, their smiles bright. They had not just survived a challenge, they had triumphed. Now I want to talk about what comes next, the professor continued, his tone shifting to one of seriousness. You've proven yourselves capable in a simulated environment, but your training is just beginning. The galaxy is filled with dangers, and there are lessons yet to be learned. What kind of lessons? Alex asked, curiosity piqued. There are advanced missions that test not only your physical skills, but also your ethical decision-making, the professor replied. Next week, you will embark on an expedition to a nearby planet known for its volatile environments. It's a chance to apply what you've learned and to further develop your abilities as a team. Excitement rippled through the room. A real mission? Jex asked, his eyes sparkling. That's incredible. Yes, but remember, the professor cautioned, the challenges will be more intense, and there will be no simulations to fall back on. You will need to rely on one another, your training, and your instincts. Alex felt a mixture of exhilaration and nervousness. We can do it, he said, glancing at his friends. We've already proven that we can handle anything together. As discussions about the upcoming mission began, Alex took a moment to reflect. They had come so far in such a short time. From strangers to a tightly knit team, they had faced danger and uncertainty, emerging stronger on the other side. Later, as the festivities began to wind down, Alex pulled Zilith aside. Thank you for everything, he said sincerely. I know I wouldn't have made it through without your help. Zilith's eye stalks flickered with warmth. We all contributed. I've never felt such unity before. It was exhilarating. He nodded, appreciating the connection they had forged. Whatever happens on the next mission, I know we'll be ready. We just need to keep communicating and trusting each other. As the night wore on, the common room filled with laughter, stories, and the promise of new adventures. Alex felt the energy of hope and excitement, knowing that the path ahead was filled with challenges and opportunities to grow. When the gathering finally began to disperse, Alex stood with his teammates, looking out over the academy grounds, illuminated by the soft glow of stars above. He realized that they were no longer just students training to face the galaxy. They were pioneers on a journey together. Let's make a pact, he suggested, turning to his friends. Whatever comes next, we face it together. They all nodded, a collective commitment forming in the air. Together, they echoed, their voices firm and united. As they turned to head back to their dorms, a new sense of purpose filled Alex. He was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, confident that with his friends by his side, they could conquer any challenge that the galaxy would throw their way. The adventure had only just begun.